Hi guys, it's Rachel. Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome. I'm really excited about today's video because it is just a get ready with me where I get to hang out with you and chat and put my makeup on. And I'm also going to show you a two-step eye look that I've been loving with multiple different color combinations, but just the two-step process I've really been loving and I've really been wanting to show you guys, as well as I'm just going to be telling you like random facts about me through this because I think that will be really fun. So let me zoom you in and let's get started. And I am going out to have tacos and margaritas, and you don't have to look fancy for that. But because I don't wear makeup on a daily basis, anytime I go out, I like to get dressed up and at least dress my face up. So that's what I'm doing that for, is tacos and margaritas. And that was the Urban Decay Primer Potion, and I'm just setting it with the NYX Banana Powder. A random fact that you might not know about me is that I know how to unicycle. When I was in elementary school, before I moved across the state, my elementary school had a unicycling club, and it was really cool, and we competed in competitions and we went in parades and stuff like that. I had to stop unicycling when I moved, because when I moved to the top of a mountain and there was like no concrete, nothing to unicycle on. So I haven't unicycled in years, but I still know how. And like 4 years ago or something, a coworker who was a really good friend bought me a unicycle, and I got on it and I was still able to ride. So I still know how to ride. But Kristen and Nikki, who've been on my channel before, they have been my friends since I was 4 years old. They continued to unicycle longer than I did. And they actually hold like world titles or world records or something like that. It's really cool. So I'm going in with the Born to Run palette in Big Sky, this interesting colored blue right here, and just putting that all over the lid. And this is my simple two-step process. So I just take a shimmery color and put it all over the lid and then blend it into the crease by turning that flat brush sideways. That's step one. Another fact you might not know about me, some of you may know from watching older videos, but I was a collegiate cheerleader. Like, I did cheer through high school, through 2 years of college, and I was really good. But even though I was a cheerleader, I don't have any tumbling skills. Like, I can't do a cartwheel to save my life. If someone held a gun to me and said, "You will live if you do a cartwheel," I would die. I would freaking die, because I can't do one. I can do a somersault, but that's about it. So I am a cheerleader who can not do a cartwheel or have any tumbling skills. It's crazy. And once I got that laid down, and I don't care how messy it looks, then I go in with a darker color on a tiny brush. I'm going in with the Black Jet, and I just fluff that on the outer corner to add dimension. Another fact you might not know about me is I don't have an appendix, and that's a really interesting story actually. One of my childhood friends moved to Utah and she was getting married, so me and another friend took a road trip down to Utah to be there because she wanted me to be a bridesmaid. That is the eye look. Really simple, quick, easy. And once I add liner and get my whole face on, it'll look really put together. And so we drove down to Utah, and I couldn't drive the whole time because I was in so much pain and like hunched over the whole time. I thought I was sick to my stomach. I thought I had the flu or something. When we got there, my friend Tanya, whose wedding it was, she was like, "This is not normal. We need to get you to the hospital. I don't care if my wedding's tomorrow. Like, we're going to the hospital tonight." So we go to the hospital, and they were like, "Your appendix is leaking. It's about to burst. We need to have emergency surgery now, tonight." And that was really scary, but it went really smoothly. We had surgery the night before the wedding. And then the next day, you know, I had stitches, I was in a hospital room on pain meds, and they were like, "We want to keep you. And I was like, but I have to go to the wedding. I'm a bridesmaid. So they agreed to let me go to the wedding as long as I went down the aisle in a wheelchair and just stayed in a wheelchair the whole time. So that is how I ended up going down the aisle in a wheelchair, and I'm in all of the wedding pictures in a wheelchair. Good times. And let's do another fact about me. So I have actually been past the Arctic Circle all the way to Prudhoe Bay, Alaska. If you know where that is, or you don't know where that is the tippy top of Alaska. And it is freezing cold, past the tree line, in the tundra, and I've been there. My dad actually used to live in Alaska, and my parents are split up, so we would go visit my dad in the summers and over Christmas break and stuff sometimes. He decided one summer to do a road trip from the south of Alaska all the way up to Prudhoe Bay, and I swear it took like 2 or 3 weeks for all of us to drive up there in his truck, but it was a very memorable trip, and I'm glad I have that experience for sure. Okay, so I am going to use the Milani Conceal and Perfect. I bought this a while ago, but I've only tried it a handful of times, and I can't remember how I feel about it. So I really want to play with it and see what I think about it. Another random fact about me is when I go to the grocery store, or any store for that matter, for like the first time I'll establish a certain order that I like to walk around that store and shop in that store. And then after that, once I establish how I like to shop in that store, if I don't go around the store in that order, I will have a panic attack. I will start bawling involuntarily, like not dramatically to throw a fit, but like my eyes will just start streaming and I'll be like shaking. I can't go in the grocery store in the wrong order. It drives me nuts. I try and make myself get out of my comfort zone and go in the stores in the wrong order, but it kills me. I'm like shaking and crying and I can't handle it, and I don't want to be like that in public. That looks really nice. I really like that. Another random fact about me is, yes, I am left-handed and I do everything with my left hand, but I am right-footed. I was a soccer player when I was little, like tiny tots and all that, and I played soccer I think until I was about 8 or 9. I always dominantly kicked the soccer ball with my right foot. I always thought that was really weird that I was like opposite dominant hand and foot instead of just the same. And speaking of soccer, I actually did play I played co-ed, and I also played women's indoor soccer as an adult. Once I moved to Colorado, I was on a couple teams for a short while. I still have my cleats and I'd be happy to play, but I'm no good at it and I don't have time. But one of the teams I was on got tickets to see the US women's team versus China, and we went with them and it was so amazing. And that is like one of the best days of my life, is going to see that US women's soccer game. I loved it so much. It was so much fun. With this foundation, I really don't need to conceal my under eyes too much. We'll just put a little bit under there. I've been not highlighting my forehead so much because I want like less stuff to cake up there and sink into my fine lines up there. So I haven't been highlighting my forehead so much. Oh, another random fact about me is I do not like receiving flowers. I've received flowers a couple of times, not very many times, but honestly, I just think unless you're sending me like the whole plant, like it's just wasteful, because you're killing the plant to give me these flowers, and then they're only going to be alive for a few days and look pretty for a few days and then they're gone. I'd rather you give me something that I can either eat and enjoy, like chocolate, or that will last forever. Like like a teddy bear. I don't know. Those are lame gifts, chocolate and teddy bears, but they're better than flowers. Flowers are not a good gift for a Rachel. Well, at least this Rachel. I know there's like millions of Rachels out there. I have one of the most common names ever. In fact, when I was a little girl, I hated it so much. Every other week, I was like changing my name and telling my mom to call me something else. Like, I told her to call me Pocahontas, and then I had this friend named Sarah, and I thought she was the coolest girl ever. She was really cool. Sarah Branson. If you ever watch this from Gold Bar, Sarah Branson, I thought you were so cool, and you are so cool. And I told my mom I wanted to be called Sarah. And I would do that like every other week. I would change my name with my mom and tell her, call me this now, call me this, because I hated the name Rachel. Like, I hated it. And now I think like it's part of who I am and I wouldn't change it. But when I was younger, I truly hated having such a common name. Like, you go into a room, someone says your name and like 5 heads turn and you're, who are they talking to? Not me? I don't know. I guess Rachel's not a bad name, but it's just so common. Another random fact about me, this isn't like super interesting, but I am still fluent in Pig Latin. I know, at least in the United States, most kids learn Pig Latin in elementary school and then they forget it. But I anke ilse octe ine igpe atenle erive elwe. You know? So that, if you ever want to talk in code with me in Pig Latin, I gotcha. I know what you're saying. That's about the only other language I know, and it doesn't really count as another language. I took 2 semesters of Spanish in high school. I don't know shit of Spanish. I could ask you where the bathroom is, where the library is. I could tell you I like your shoes. Those aren't very helpful things. Well, the bathroom one is very helpful, but telling you I like your shoes isn't very helpful. Speaking of languages and random facts about Rachel, I've gone to college many, many times, many different colleges. I've dropped out over and over, and one of the times I went to college, I actually enrolled in a program to become an ASL interpreter, and I was in that for like 2 quarters, but for a while, I was actually planning on being an ASL interpreter, and right now, all I know is the alphabet. Like, I've lost everything, but I think that's a really cool thing that you can have a career out of being an ASL interpreter, and I kind of wish I'd pursue that, but I do like what I do now. I do really enjoy my job now. I just wish it paid more, which is why I'm going back to school so I can get into a career that'll give me a little bit more compensation, because I don't know if you know any dog groomers, but in the area that I live in, there are a ton of dog groomers. There's a ton of competition, and making what I make is good. And I'm still considered like working class or lower class with my income. Like, I don't make very much, but it's considered really good for my area, the amount that I make. So that's kind of sad, because dog groomers work really hard and they do a lot to take care of the health and wellness of your family members. So it makes me sad that people don't think I'm worth very much. Like, I raised my prices 2 years ago and there are people still complaining about it. Alright, so I'm just going to put on some brown eyeliner on the waterline Smog from Urban Decay because it's in my project pan. I'm trying to use it up. Then I'm going to take a pencil brush and take that blue color Big Sky and just run that along the lower lash line. So my camera cut out, so I was just finishing up my lower lash line. I think I was wrapping up also the conversation about dog grooming. And what I was saying is we take care of the health and wellness. Not only do we make your pet look pretty, but like we take care of the nails and the glands and the ears, and we recognize things that are wrong, like lumps and bumps that shouldn't be there. And like, I found on a German Shepherd that I groom regularly something wrong with his eyes, and they found an autoimmune disease at the vet that they wouldn't have noticed otherwise had I not noticed there was something wrong with his eyes. So we really do a lot and people just undervalue us, and it makes me really upset. Let's move on to another random fact about Rachel. I was a troublemaker as a child for my mom. Like, she's always said if I was her first child, I would have been her last child. Like, I was a handful as a child. And one time at the state fair, because we were in 4-H, so we always went to the state fair, and one time at the state fair, I was just sitting on a bench and there was a hole, like a knot hole in the wooden bench, and I stuck my finger through it. I stuck my finger in the hole and it got stuck, and they had to have like emergency people come and like lube up my finger and slide it out, and it was a whole big thing. I got into stupid trouble as like a small child. Like, I wasn't a troublemaker as a teenager, but as a small child, like, I just did stupid stuff like that. Half an hour? That's plenty of time.
Okay. Oh, you're filming?
Yeah, I figured since I'm putting on makeup, might as well film and get ready with me. So next I'm going to put on my favorite highlight, the Dior Nude Air Luminizer in 001. I've said before, I'm pretty sure this is the highlight that I'm going to be wearing on my wedding day. I don't know about the rest of my wedding makeup, but I do know about this for my face. Like, look at that. It's like natural and blinding at the same time. I don't know how Dior does it, but it's phenomenal. Another random but lame fact about me is I do not know how to drive a stick shift. I wish I did. I've asked friends with stick shift to teach me many, many times, but I don't know, they just never get around to it. If you own a stick shift and you're ever driving with me and we're in an emergency situation, I can't drive. Gonna have to call an ambulance. Sorry. Ooh, that even looks nice with that. Oh my gosh, that looks so nice. I really want to wear my Maybelline Lash Sensational, but I can't find it, so I'm gonna wear my Lash Domination and just put on a quick coat of that. Don't need my lashes too big because I'm putting my glasses back on. I don't want them hitting my glasses. I'm going to put on my lipstick that I've been obsessed with since I got it. It is the Bite Beauty Cancer lipstick. And I'm not going to line my lips, I'm just going simple. Alright, so this is the final look. Let me put my glasses back on. And you know what? I have one more random fact for you about me before we say goodbye, but let me just put my glasses on so I can see. Oh my gosh, that's so much better. That is so much better. Okay, so last random fact about me before I go, because this is just going to be a long video. I just know it is, so why not add one more random fact in. I am a published poet. There's this website where you can submit your poetry, and I wrote a lot of poetry in high school. Like, I was so into writing and poetry. I thought I wanted to be a writer, and I submitted my work to them, and they were like, hey, you are so good, we want to put you in our book, just pay this much for a copy. And I think what it is it's a thing where if you pay for a copy, then they put your poem in the book. But if you don't pay for a copy, they don't put your poem in the book. But either way, I have a published book on my bookshelf with a poem I wrote in it, and I think that is one of the coolest things and something really random about me that you probably did not know. It was so much fun hanging out with you guys, and I hope you had fun finding out some random facts about me and getting to know me and learning some tips and tricks with how I do some quick makeup for going out. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button if you've not already, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!